Hi guys, Barb here from barbstamps.com with my weekly Thursday night live, but tonight we're not live. This is a pre-recorded video because instead of doing my weekly live, I had gallbladder surgery today. So I've got my amazing kit of cards and you can earn that free with a $35 order. And so yeah, I wanted to get this video up because I had planned on going live, but then I had a consult with my surgeon Wednesday, which actually is today, the day I'm filming the video, but I had my surgical consult today and he told me that he could get me in tomorrow, which is Thursday, the day I'm supposed to be live, or I would have to wait until after he got back from vacation, which would be towards the end of the month. Honestly, I haven't been feeling that great. I can't really eat any food. I'm almost feel like I'm starving to death. And so I just went ahead and opted to get it done immediately. That way I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to be miserable while I'm waiting, and it'll just be over. So by the time you're watching this, I will probably be on my way home from the hospital. So I'm hoping everything went well. And yeah, so there's not much else to report around here. Both my kids are doing great. I'm fine, except for the fact that I can't eat any food. But other than that, life is great. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera down so that we can do a little business talk, and then we'll get to the stamping with the card kit. So hold on just a second. Alrighty, here we are. So in case you did not know, yesterday we started a new sale where you can get an extra 10% off all of our Stampin' Die bundles. And then you can also get an extra 10% off either of our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines, either if you like the mini, white or blue, or the large white machine. And I just have a few of my stamp sets here that do have die sets associated with them. So in case you were wondering, these are some, not all, of the stamp sets with dies that are going to be on the special. So we've got the Thoughtful Wishes, the Wildflower Designs, Unbounded Love, Flowers of Beauty, the Country Flowers and the Country Birdhouse, Adventurous Sky, In the Grove, The Loveliest Tree, Round We Go, Pocket Thoughts, Sketched Butterflies, Spotlight on Nature, and more. Those just happen to be some of the bundles that I currently do own myself. And of course, I have a few more on my wish list, so we're going to be adding those to my cart. So you can go to the online store at shoppingwithbarb.com, and then you can click on the banner that talks about the sale, and you can see everything that is included in the sale. So that's going on right now. All right, we have a new host code for the next couple of weeks. So this is the host code that you can use when you're ordering in my online store. If your orders are less than $150, please use this code. I have freebies for you. I have freebies for you regardless what size your order is, but if it's over $150, you take the Stampin' Rewards for yourself. So if you order $35 or more in merchandise out of my online store, I will give you a Precut Cardstock Kit for the projects I'm going to make for you today. Now, this is a special that's available through June 19th. I guess I shouldn't say a special. It's the offer that's available through June 19th, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be feeling well enough to be alive next week or not. So I just decided to have the kit go for 2 weeks. If your order, and then you also do get my... Hold on, I have my papers in the wrong order. You'll get my Take to the Sky PDF also. That's for any purchase in my online store, okay? Then if your order is over $50, you will also get the Precut Cardstock Kit for today's projects. Plus, you will get my global tutorial that uses the Unbounded Beauty Suite, all right? Then if your order is $75 or more, you will get the Precut Cardstock Kit, both of those PDF files, plus a package of the embellishments that I'm using on my projects today, and these are the ombre matte decorative dots. Okay, so those will also be a freebie for you. And then, like I said, if your order is over $150, please don't use the host code and take the rewards for yourself. This is the current host code to get the kit today. Also, I have my Country Flowers online class registration going on. The link is in the description of this video for you to register for that. It's going to be a really amazing class. We're using the Country Flowers bundle, these gems, the Subtles paper, the black and vanilla ribbon, and the eyelet embossing folder. 3 options. The whole shebang is everything. The cardstock kit gets you the pre-cut cardstock kit for all the cards, some of the paper, the ribbon, and some of the gems. And then, of course, we have the PDF only option. And as far as adhesive kits go, I still have adhesive kits, but my daughter, who is a crocheting crazy person, I had her make me some of these adorable little ice cream cone charms, and these will come with your adhesive kits if you order them right now. I have blue and pink available. Let me grab my pink one here. And you'll just get a random selection, either pink or blue. But aren't these adorable? She has just become a crocheting crazy person. So anyways, those are my adhesive kits. You get all these adhesives in there: liquid glue, adhesive eraser, glue dots, stamping ink eraser, tear and tape adhesive. I almost forgot what that was called. The dimensionals, a seal adhesive, some black dimensionals, and I think that's it. There's just a ton of stuff in here, and then you'll get this cute little zipper pull, and then you have this little cute bag to keep all of your adhesives in there. All right, and then Stamp Happy Academy. We talk about this every week that I'm live. The PDF file for these cards I'm going to make for you today will be housed on the Stamp Happy Academy website. So if you are a member, you'll have access to that here in just a few days. Also, if you do purchase the $35 in my online store, I will send you the PDF when I mail out your card kits. So I think that's all the business talk. So let me go ahead and clean all this up and bring in my supplies for the first project, and we will get started. All right, so for the cards that I'm going to make for this 2-week period, I'm going to be using the Happiest Day stamp set. Isn't that just adorable? You can find it in the catalog on page 99. The lighting isn't so great on this, but it's a super cute little set, and you might not have even noticed it. It's on the same page with the assorted cardstock collection. So again, page 99. And I am pairing that with the Ombre Matte Decorative Dots. And so all the cards will use this stamp set and these dots. So all you have to do to get the Precut Cardstock Kit for the cards is to order $35 worth of merchandise. And of course, you could use the Happiest Day as part of your order. And then the dots, if you aren't planning on ordering $75, be sure to add the dots to your order so that you can add those to your cards. So let me go ahead and get the projects for the first card, and we will get started. All right, so here is our first card, and again, we are using the Happiest Day stamp set. Such a cute little stamp set, and I hope you are going to love all of my cards. So we are going to start off with a thick basic white card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5. We'll get a piece of Bubble Bath, and this measures 4 by 5.25. Then you're going to get a piece of Misty Moonlight. This is going to measure 1 7/8 by 5.25. Is that right? 5.25? Yes. Sorry, I second guessed myself for a second there. And then 3 little pieces of basic white that are all 1.5 inch square. And then you're going to get some Petunia Pop ribbon. And I like to wrap my ribbon around something. So if you have a Stamp and Mist bottle in your arsenal or something like that, that just makes it so much easier. You're going to take your ribbon and you're going to tie it around the bottle into a knot. All right. And then you'll slide it off the bottle, and then this is what you'll have. And then you can just cut off the end there. And then you'll cut the loop to wherever you want it. So that's another thing. So let's go ahead and do a little stamping. I'm going to bring in a foam mat along with a scrap piece of paper, because I am going to go ahead and add some little, I don't know, I guess these are sparkles or confetti or something to this layer of Bubble Bath. And I'm going to use Bubble Bath ink. And I'm just going to try to, let's see here. Since I'm going to actually have the Misty Moonlight piece kind of go across the middle-ish, maybe a little bit higher than center. So then I'm going to do some stamping with these fun little bits here. And just kind of add a little bit of a background. Now you can do the entire piece of cardstock if you want to, but it's not necessary because like I said, we're going to be covering that with the Misty Moonlight layer. So the Misty Moonlight layer is going to kind of go like this. Like I said, just a little bit above center, so you can sort of see that it looks like the whole thing's done. So if you want to go ahead and do the middle of it, you go ahead. All right, so now we're going to bring in our 3 squares, and we're going to stamp a dragonfly on each of them in a different position each time. So I'm just going to use Memento here, and I'm just going to ink that little dragonfly up, and then I'm going to stamp him something kind of like this, where he's not right in the middle. And then this one, pretty much full center. You can turn it if you want to. And then lastly, kind of coming in from the top at an angle here. So let's just kind of go something like that. Okay, and now we're going to bring in the wings of the dragonfly. There are 2 of them, and the little phrase that says hey. And we're going to do each of these in 3 different colors. So I've got the Bubble Bath, I've got Petunia Pop, and Misty Moonlight here. So I'm just going to start by inking up my hay in the Bubble Bath, and I'm just going to kind of stamp it right here. And then I'll get the small wings of the dragonfly, and I'm going to do the small wings here on this center dragonfly. And then the large wing I'm going to do on this dragonfly on the left. And I kind of found that if the bumps, it's a little bit more flat right here, and then this is a little more bumpy. Hopefully that makes sense. That is the best angle for stamping this. Oops. Okay. So we should be done with Bubble Bath for the moment anyway. And we're going to clean off all 3 of the stamps. And then we're going to bring in the Misty Moonlight color. And we're going to do that again. We're going to stamp 3 different times. Let me kind of spank that off so that it's dry. So we'll ink up that Misty Moonlight, and we're going to stamp it. Scooch it down a little bit so I can see what's going on here. There, I think that's decent. Could be better, but it also could be worse. All right, and then the small wings I'm going to bring down here to this one on the end. And then my little phrase, hey, my little word, hey, is going to go, let's see, where do I want this? I think I'm going to set it over here. Just kind of right below this. There we go. All right, close up the Misty Moonlight. And then we're going to clean all these off again, bring my chamois in here. And now we're going to get the Petunia Pop out. And my Petunia Pop pad is fairly juicy. So I am going to take a plastic spoon and kind of press into the pad in a little section right there. And then that's going to be the spot that I'm going to actually use to ink up my stamps. And we will just finish this out here. So we'll get the Petunia Pop there. And then we'll get the larger wings up here. Something like that. And then our little phrase on this last one here, probably up near the top. All right, so we should be done with the Petunia Pop out here on the front. So I'm just gonna clean off these images here, everything. Okay, and then we can do a little assembly on the outside. Got my gems ready here. And now remember, if you order a $75 or more from my online store, you're going to get the gems for free, okay? So let me go ahead and add my layer of Misty Moonlight to the Bubble Bath. All right, sorry about that. I had to answer the phone. So let's get this on here. So we're going to go, like I said, just slightly above center. You know what? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in a little bit more with those little confettis or splatters or whatever we want to call them. I just feel like we might need a little bit more in some of those spots. So, all right. Maybe I should have just done the whole thing. All right, like I said, a little bit above center, and I think like that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in, obviously my cutting wasn't exact, so we're just going to chop off a little bit of the end here. There we go. Because I did want my Misty Moonlight to go right to the ends. All right, so now we can add our little pieces here. Whoops. What am I doing? That goes here, and this one goes over here. So we're going to add these to the center strip. So I'm going to do this one first. And you could use dimensionals if you want. I'm not going to. I'm just going to try to kind of put this so it's equal distance at the top and the bottom and the left side. This one I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, something like this, and then we'll add that center one in the middle between the two. That way it just makes it a little easier, at least for me, to get that middle one centered. Okay, so we'll add that. There we go. I think that is good. Okay, and then we're going to add the ribbon next, and I think I'm going to put the ribbon at the top. So when I had my big circle of ribbon, I put my knot about right here, and then I pulled it away from my card and I cut it just so that I had enough to go around both sides of this layer. Okay, so I like to use Scotch tape, so we're going to do that. You can see I was practicing with the card yesterday. We do have two sides, so if you mess up the front side, there's always that second side. All right, so let's get that. All right, perfect. And then I'm going to snip off the ends here, pull in my ribbon scissors. Just want to make sure my knot looks the way I want it to look. There we go. And cut that off. Cut that off. And then I think what I'm going to do to kind of make this look a little more even is I'm going to add a glue dot under my knot just to pull that knot into place where I want it to be, so that I can have it be nice and straight across the top of the card there. There we go. I think that's about where I want it. Okay. And then we're going to add this to the front of our card. Oh my gosh, that is just the cutest thing. Okay. I guess maybe I'll use dimensionals on this. You can do whatever. Oh my gosh, look at that. My dimensional sheet is empty. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut around all these. Oh, there's one left. Okay. There we go. And we'll go ahead and add our dimensionals. I'm going to avoid the spot where my ribbon is because I don't want to add, a whole bunch more bulk there. So I'm just kind of having that. And then we'll get that in the middle. Okay. Take off all of those backing pieces. And then we'll get this done. And then we're going to decorate the inside a little bit. Whoops, my thing's stuck down before I was ready. Stop it. Okay, I think something about like that is going to be good. Then we need to bring our gems in also. So I've got these fun ombre matte decorative dots. And we've got some Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight-ish looking dots on here. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of these. And we're just going to add them. Well, little stinker is not cooperating very well, is it? And maybe a small one up here. And then maybe another small one over here. Just to kind of add a little bit. Actually, you know what? I think I might change my mind and put the small one here. And then add the larger one, maybe right there. Okay, then for the inside, we've got hey, hey, hey. And then we're going to add the birthday sentiment in here in the misty moonlight. So let me get that out. And we'll ink that up. Okay. And trying to center it as best we can. Something like that. And then there is this fun other little piece in this set that's kind of a little arrow. And I thought it might be kind of fun to try to do our best. How fun is that? To add that around our sentiment here. There we go. All right, so there we go. Card number 1 done. I hope you guys loved it. Let me get the stuff for card number 2 and we'll continue on. Alrighty, so then here we are with the card number 2 for the class that uses the adorable Happiest Day stamp set, one of the cutest stamp sets in the catalog. So in the kit, you're going to get a Calypso Coral card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to go ahead and get that folded up and burnished. You're going to get an inside layer, which is 4 by 5.25 of white, and I've already done the stamping on that. You're also going to get a piece of Daffodil Delight. This is 1.5 by 5.5, and I've already embossed this for you. And you're going to then cut this into 1/2-inch strips using whatever trimmer you like. I like these little tiny trimmers. I keep one on my desk all the time. If you don't have the one that Stampin' Up! Offered, I do have a link to one in the description of this video. It's super handy. So you're going to cut those into 1/2-inch strips. And then what I like to do with them to make it easier for me is I like to tape them together with some Scotch tape. So we'll butt up the ends and then have, I don't know, about a 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch-ish gap in between these 2 pieces, or 3 pieces. Good Lord, can I count? And I'm just going to add some tape. And I'm going to grab another piece of tape, and I'm going to come down here and make sure that these ends look like they are together nicely, and add some more tape that way. For me, that's just super easy to then add it to my card wherever I want it. Hopefully when I get it stuck on here, my other layer is going to cover up my tape. Yes, it should. So technically, maybe we should get the tape just maybe a little closer to the center. Anyway, so I'm going to add this to my card. So I'm going to use some liquid glue, and I'm just going to run some liquid glue along both of these. Both. I keep saying both like there's only 2 pieces here. All 3 of these strips. So let's get that kind of done. And then I'm going to add this to the card. I'm going to add it a little bit below center. And since I kind of put my tape in a weird spot, I am going to scooch it as far left as I can while still being able to trim off the excess there. So go ahead and then open that up, get that all gently pressed into place. How did that happen? And then we're going to end up cutting those off. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry a little bit so I don't get my scissors too gummy. And while we're doing that, we're going to work with our layer of white. This is 2 7/8 by, what is it, 4 1/8. And then this piece of Lost Lagoon is 3 by 4 1/4. So we're going to do stamping on this piece here. So let me get my scratch paper in here again. So we're going to start out with the sentiment on the card, and we're going to use the large sentiment about glitter. I can't find my memento pad. So we're going to ink it up with black. I can't remember exactly what it says. Something like, you make me feel like glitter in the sun. I think that's what it says. So ink that up in black, and then center that on your white layer as best you can. Something like that ought to work. Okay. And then we're going to kind of surround this with suns. And so there is a 2-step sun image here in the set. You've got the one with the sun's rays, and then the little kind of solid circle that you can use in the center there. So I'm just going to kind of stamp a few of these around here. And we'll just kind of fill them in as we feel is good. Maybe that there, maybe a little one up here. one over here, and one there, and then we'll try one here, and then we'll see if we need any extras. So then I'm going to go ahead and start stamping my little circle image, and I'm using Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral, and Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to start out with the daffodil because it is the lightest color. So we'll just get those in the center of these little sun images, kind of, you know, a little bit random here and there. All right, so I'm going to clean this off. I've got my little chamois up there. I'm going to tap it off on my hand so that I get any excess water off. And now I'm going to go with the Lost Lagoon, and I'll ink that up, and I'll do that. Maybe a Lost Lagoon here. How about one here? And then how about one down there? And again, cleaning that off with my chamois, kind of spank it on my hand to get any excess water from my chamois off. And now I'm going to come in with the coral, and we'll do a few more here. Add our little coral suns. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and add, a tiny one down there. I just feel like I need a little more color down there. And I actually might go ahead and stamp. Let's see if we could get this to be like just barely. I think we can. Tiny bit of coral up there, and then maybe right here with the daffodil. So let's go ahead and add one more little sun here, maybe to the edge. Oh, I kind of foobarred that a little bit. Kind of messed that up just a little bit. Clean my stamp off again, make sure it's clean. And then we're just going to add a tiny bit of Daffodil Delight up there. Perfect. Okay, so we have all of that stamping done. Close up all my ink pads so I don't make a mess. And then we're going to bring this piece back in, and I am going to go ahead and trim off the excess here. Now, if you want to use a trimmer, you can. I just like to use scissors. It works just fine for me to use this pair of scissors. And then I'll come in here and cut them off from the inside as well. Okay, so get that trash out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and glue my little stamped layer here to this layer of Lost Lagoon. And there we go. There'll be just a slight border here. Actually, I think my Lost Lagoon piece might be a tad bit too long. Not a problem. I'll just bring in my little trimmer here, and we'll just chop off a little of that off the bottom, maybe a tiny bit more. There we go. Easy enough. And then we're going to add this. We're going to basically try to center this onto the card. So I'm going to go ahead and use dimensionals. I'll bring in my sheet here that has the dimensionals on it. And there we go. Add all those to the card. Get all the backings off. And then now we're going to try to get this centered top to bottom, side to side as best we can. Is that centered? Sometimes it's so hard for me. My eyes just play tricks on me constantly, and they're always tricking me into thinking something's centered, and then I pull it away and then it's not. Does anybody else have that problem? Okay, I feel like maybe just a tiny bit over. Something like that. All right, we're going to go with that. Then on the inside, you'll see I stamped the You're the Best sentiment. And then I did use that same little arrow image to kind of accent the sentiment. And then I added a little sun up there. So now I'll just go ahead and add this to the inside of the card. And there we go. Get that centered top to bottom as best we can. Okay. And then we're going to bring the gems in. We're going to work with the little Calypso Corally color up here. So these are ombre, so there's like some shades of it. And we're going to try, we're going to add, you know what, let me see how these lighter ones actually work. Because I kind of wanted to do that. I kind of wanted to just add some of these to the suns that are on the card, just to kind of accent them just a little bit. So I think that looks pretty good. And then finally, I have a little ribbon, a little bow that I've tied. So you'll get a little chunk of ribbon in your kit. And I just do this to make ribbons, to make bows. I kind of make 2 bunny ears, cross them, push the one loop through the hole, and then pull it tight. Obviously, you manipulate it to get it to look like you want. And now 9 times out of 10, since this ribbon kind of has 2 different sides, it has kind of a white side and kind of a gold side. So what I do to kind of combat that is I will twist the tail of my ribbon back, and if I have to put a glue dot back there to keep it in place, I will. I don't know, so I'm going to have to do that here. We'll see, but I already have a ribbon tied, and I did pull that back. So I think I can go ahead and add my glue dot to the back of this and keep that little tail twisted so that the nice gold color comes to the front. So we'll just press everything into that little glue dot, push that back up. You probably can't see what I'm doing, but the glue dot's a little bit bigger than my ribbon, so I'm just actually pushing the glue dot back up onto itself just to kind of hide it. Okay. And I was going to just kind of stick this right up here near that sun. All right, and then I've got some scissors here to trim off the excess. That little guy, and then maybe that little guy. And there we go. Card number 2 is now finished. Let's get the stuff for 3, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, here we are with the final card for the Happiest Day stamp set. Don't forget that if you place a $35 order, minimum $35 merchandise order in my online store at shoppingwithbarb.com, I will give you the kit to make all 3 of these cards. And then if your order is over $75, I will also include the ombre matte dots for you as well. So for this particular card, we're going to have a pool party card base, 5.5 by 8.5. I've already folded it. You're going to get a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of pool party that I have embossed with the eyelet embossing folder. A 4 by 5.25 inch piece of white for the inside. We've got a piece of this pattern of the zinnia paper that's 2 by 4. You'll also get that. A little 1/2 inch by 4 strip of lemon lime twist, and then a little piece of white that is 2.25 by 3 that we're going to do our stamping on. So I'm going to bring in my scratch paper again. I've got my Memento ink here. We're going to stamp our little birthday greeting here. And I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom of the layer. Whoops, we've got some bits left over from our previous card. Not all the way to the bottom, but towards the bottom. Okay, something like that. And then we're going to use the little rainbow images from the set this time. So I've got the tiny little rainbow on this end of my block, the next rainbow on that end of my block. And we are just going to start by stamping the small rainbow about right there. And then our next size rainbow over the top of that. And then finally the largest rainbow over the top of those. So we'll just kind of line that up. There we go. And I can put the lid on my ink. Pretty simple card. I'm going to let that dry for just a few seconds while I do some assembly because I want to make sure that my ink is dry before I go ahead and do some work with my Stampin' Blends. So I've got a little bit of glue here. This should go right here at the bottom. Oh my goodness, not that. Come on, Barb, get a grip on it. Right here at the base of your embossed layer. Look at that. Try to get it lined up there. Looks like it might be a skosh too long, which of course is never a problem. Being too short can sometimes be a problem. So we're just going to trim off that excess designer series paper. I just like to do that. I like my things to look very finished and polished. And then we're going to go ahead and add this strip kind of right over the seam of where those two things meet. So I'm going to add some glue to this as well. And I just want to maybe try to center it across there as best I can. Sometimes if you look from the side, you can get that centered a little bit better. Or you can potentially sometimes use your embossing. If I got this into my folder in the right position, then I should be able to use those guidelines as well. Again, this is a tiny bit too long. Not a problem. We're just going to snip that off. And there we go. So this is going to be our layer for the card. We can go ahead and do that with some dimensionals here. I was thinking maybe we could finish up the package here, but I don't think we're going to have quite enough space to use dimensionals to finish that up. Now, I guess that's not true. I could go crazy and I could use dimensionals all over the whole thing, but that might be a little bit too many, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this onto our card base. Always a struggle for me. My eyes are just not that great. Maybe if I turn it to the side and scooch it down just a little bit so I have a better vantage point for myself being directly over the top of it, that might be helpful. Okay. All right, so then our little focal point here, we're going to do some coloring with our Stampin' Blend. So I've got Real Red, Pool Party, and the Lemon Lime Twist. I've got the dark of all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little dark right here in the middle. And then I'm going to draw a line of dark around the top. And just keep going here. Oops. I kind of screwed that up a little bit, so I'm just going to make this a little wider to compensate for that. Okay. Then we're going to get the Lemon Lime Twist out here. We're going to do that. Whoops, wrong end. We're going to do that on our second little spot here. So just kind of go around in that white area and color that in. And then finally with our dark Pool Party, we're going to get this kind of larger area colored in here. Okay, I think that looks good. And now I'm just going to attach this to my card right here. But first I wanted to let you know that you can do some squiggle art if you are, if that's something you'd like to do. I went ahead and did my squiggle art with our basic black Stampin' Right marker. And I'll do a little sampling here for you of how I do my scribbling. So basically what I do is I start out with a couple of dots. So I'd go maybe dot, dot, and then I would just kind of draw a squiggle. And then I might go 3 dots. And then since my squiggle started at the top, my next squiggle is going to kind of start at the bottom. And then I might do a couple more dots, add another squiggle, and so on. And then that's just kind of how I went around the whole thing. So if squiggling is something that you think would look great on your project, then you can do that. And I don't know. It just adds a little bit of interest, I think, adding the squiggles. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use my squiggly one and not my plain one on this particular project. And I do think I'm going to add some dimensionals for this. Maybe we will get these all used up. We'll see. And that, oh my gosh, we're going to have one piece left. That's okay. I've got other cards I need to make. So, all right, we'll get the backings off of here. And then we can get our little piece added. Okay, so probably a little bit higher above. So if this was center, then I'm going to have it a little bit above center. All right, so something like that. And then we have our little matte dots here, super cute. And I'm going to go ahead and use some of the Pool Party / Coastal Cabana / Summer Splash dots. And I'm just going to use, I think I'm going to go with this little second section here. And I'm just going to add a few on here, kind of around my rainbow image and my sentiment. And whoops, maybe right down there, something along those lines. All right, so then for the inside, I went ahead and used the Thinking of You Today and Everyday sentiment out of the stamp set. Added a little bit of splatter behind there, and then I used that fun little arrow image again. So I think within all the cards, I've used every image in this stamp set with the exception of this little guy right here. So I thought that was pretty fun. I do try to do that when I'm making these classes. I try to use as many of the pieces of the, either it's a stamp set and a die set or a punch, whatever. I do try to use as many pieces as I can just to kind of help you, get an idea of what you can do with those things. So I hope you guys liked this. I thought these cards were amazing. I'll go ahead and bring them all back in here. There we go. That was card number 3. That was card number 2. And then we had this amazing card number 1. So I hope you guys liked them. Please let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. That always helps me with designing, future projects for you guys. And remember, a $35 merchandise order will get you a kit to make these cards. And then you will get the gems also when you reach the $75 mark with your order. And you have until June 19th to place your order to get this kit. As many of you probably know, I'm having gallbladder surgery, and so I want to make sure I give myself enough time to recover. So I probably won't be live next week, but we will see what happens. Anyway, this kit will be available with orders through June 19th. And thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me. I appreciate you all so very much, and I hope you have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.